When Captain Elias Rowan opened his eyes, he expected pain. He expected the metallic scent of blood, the distant thunder of artillery, and the suffocating weight of battlefield smoke. Instead, he smelled antiseptic air and recycled oxygen. Soft white lights glowed above him. He was alive. That alone felt unnatural. The last thing he remembered was the sky above Kharis-IV burning red as orbital bombardments shattered the alien warships descending through atmosphere. The Terran coalition had been losing that war for months. The Varelian Empire's fleets were faster, their weapons more precise, their soldiers genetically engineered for combat. Elias had led a counteroffensive into the heart of a Varelian command outpost. He remembered the explosion. After that, nothing. He tried to sit up. Pain answered immediately. "Easy, Captain," a voice said. Dr. Mikhail's tired face came into view. "You were out for 3 days."
Battle.
Elias croaked. "We won." The word didn't register at first. "Won?" "We pushed them back." Their command structure collapsed after the explosion in their central spire. Elias frowned. That explosion wasn't planned. The doctor hesitated. "No," he admitted. "It wasn't." That's when Elias noticed something else. He wasn't alone. Across the medical bay, guarded by 2 Terran soldiers, knelt a figure unlike any he had ever seen.
Tall.
Slender. Skin like pale opal. Long silver hair cascading over her shoulders. Iridescent markings shimmered faintly across her arms. Even kneeling, she radiated presence. Her wrists were bound in luminous restraint cuffs. And she was staring directly at him. "Who is that?" Elias asked quietly. The doctor's expression shifted. "That," he said carefully, "is Princess Kelira Valor, heir to the Varelian throne." Elias blinked. "You're joking." "I wish I was." The gift. Hours later, after scans confirmed Elias would survive, Admiral Tarek himself arrived. The Admiral stood rigid at the foot of Elias's bed. "Captain Rowan," he said, "your actions at Kharis-IV ended the war." Elias tried to process that.
How?
"The explosion you triggered destroyed their high command chamber, including Emperor Valor." Silence stretched. The Varelian Empire had revolved around the Emperor's genetic command signal. Without him, their fleets fractured. "You decapitated their leadership," the Admiral continued. "The remaining Varelian houses are scrambling for power." Elias looked toward the kneeling figure again. "And she?" "Princess Kelira was present during the battle. She was captured attempting to escape." Elias frowned. "Why is she here?" The Admiral hesitated, a rare thing. "Because she invoked the Rite of Binding." The words meant nothing to Elias. "It's an ancient Varelian law," the Admiral explained. "If a royal heir is defeated in direct conflict, they may bind themselves to the victorious commander. It prevents immediate execution and ensures political stability." Elias stared at him. "You're telling me she bound herself to me?" "Yes." "Why?" "She claims you defeated her." "I didn't even know she was there." "Varelian law is symbolic." Elias rubbed his temples. "So, what does binding mean exactly?" The Admiral's gaze hardened. "It means she is, by their law, yours." The word hung heavily. Elias looked across the room again. Kelira did not look humiliated. She looked calculating. "The princess speaks." They removed her restraints under heavy guard. She stood slowly. Up close, Elias noticed her eyes were not a single color. They shimmered between violet and gold, depending on the light. She bowed her head slightly. "Captain Elias Rowan," she said, her voice smooth but resonant. "By right of right and blood, I am bound to you." "I didn't ask for this," he replied immediately. Her gaze lifted. "Nor did I ask for my father's death." That silenced him. Admiral Tark folded his arms. Princess, explain your intention. She met Elias's eyes again. My empire is fracturing. Several warhouses will claim the throne. Civil war will follow. Billions will die. And binding yourself to a human soldier fixes that? Elias asked. Yes. The confidence in her tone unsettled him. The right of binding is absolute. If I remain under your protection, any Varelian house that moves against Earth risks violating sacred law. It buys peace. Admiral Tark spoke carefully. Or it drags us into their internal war. Kilira's expression didn't change. You're already involved. Your captain killed an emperor. Elias exhaled sharply. Look, he said, I'm a soldier, not a political symbol. You are now, she replied softly. Uneasy alliance. Over the next weeks, Kilira remained aboard the Terran flagship under Elias's supervision. Officially, she was a diplomatic hostage. Unofficially, she was something far more complicated. She learned quickly. Human customs. Military hierarchy. Humor. You laugh often, she observed one evening as they stood before a viewport overlooking the stars. Helps with stress, Elias said. In Varelian culture, laughter during crisis signals dominance. He smirked. Guess we're not so different. She studied him. You destroyed my father's empire. I destroyed a weapons platform. It was the same thing. There was no hatred in her voice. Only truth. Do you want revenge? He asked quietly. She considered the question carefully.
No.
That surprised him. My father's rule was absolute. Many feared him. Some hated him. The empire was strong but brittle. You did not shatter it alone. You merely struck the final blow. And what do you want? She stepped closer to the viewport. Change. The threat. 3 months after the war's end, the first Varelian warship reappeared. House Draevor. Their message was simple. Return the princess. Or face reclamation. Admiral Tark convened an emergency council. If we hand her over, one official argued, we avoid conflict. And condemn her to execution. Elias snapped. Kilira sat calmly beside him. House Draevor will not honor the right, she said. They consider it obsolete. Then why invoke it? Elias demanded. Because some houses still respect it. Enough to create division among my enemies. You're using us. Yes. She didn't deny it. And in return? Elias pressed. I prevent unified retaliation against Earth. Silence filled the chamber. Admiral Tark looked at Elias. Captain, she invoked binding to you. The choice to uphold or dissolve it rests, technically, with you. Elias stared at the holographic projection of the approaching warship. He had fought to end a war. Now he stood on the brink of another. He turned to Kilira. If I dissolve the binding, I will be reclaimed, she said evenly, and likely executed. Yes. And if I uphold it, you become a target. He studied her face. No fear. Just resolve. He made his decision. We uphold it. The attack. House Draevor did not wait for diplomacy. Their warship opened fire at the edge of Terran space. The first volleys shattered a defense satellite. Elias took command of a strike cruiser despite protests about his still healing injuries. Kilira joined him on the bridge. You are not required to fight, he said. I am bound to you, she replied. Your battle is mine. The engagement was brutal. Draevor ships were faster, optimized for aggressive strikes. But Kilira knew their tactics. They favor flanking maneuvers after a feigned retreat, she warned. Elias adjusted formation. Her insight turned the tide. When the enemy flagship attempted boarding, Elias led the counter-defense personally.